Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. Today we are talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars officially turning their focus to the Indianapolis Colts in Week 17. The Jaguars will travel to play the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium in Week 17 with a chance to clinch the AFC South if the Houston Texans lose to the Los Angeles Chargers on Saturday and the Jaguars win on Sunday. The Jaguars will be AFC South champions for the first time since 2022 and likely lock up a top 3 seed in the AFC. As a result, the stakes for this game are obviously massive. Just because the Jaguars have clinched a playoff spot in no way means that the stakes are going away moving forward. I mean, the Jaguars realistically, I'm not going to say, because I can't confirm, but I'm not going to say there's no way they can beat a 4 seed, but clearly the 4 seed is the least likely one they're going to be. The chances, though, between seed 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7, I mean, you have that many options. I mean, it's all fairly about even. I mean, there's a scenario where even sitting at 11 and 4, where they could potentially be a 7 seed. I mean, the AFC, and due to the NFL's obviously, playoff seeding, like the lowly win level Pittsburgh Steelers, at least compared to the rest of the AFC, are going to be the 4th seed most likely. That means the Jaguars can't at any point, take their foot off the gas, take their hand off the throttle, whatever you want to call it. Because there's still a lot to be played for. And I thought Anthony Campanile and Grant Udinski were fantastic when asked about that on Tuesday. They were asked, what it was like, what the celebration was like, etc. when D. Winters picked off Phillip Rivers and officially clinched a playoff berth for the Jaguars, Bills, and Chargers. And I wouldn't say they didn't care, but they more or less said, it didn't affect them and they just went back to work. And that's the mindset that I truly believe they have, and that's the mindset that they need to have because they haven't done anything yet. It's still a lot to play for, and this is a Colts team that's fighting for its playoff life. They need to win this game to stay alive this season, which, considering they were 7-1 at one point, I mean, it's a downfall by the Colts this season that is going to be talked about and studied for a long time. And the Jaguars have a chance to do what the Jaguars didn't do in Houston. And it would have been the case, seeing how the rest of Houston's season's played out. I mean, maybe they lose that game. Maybe they lose some momentum, but that's just more a narrative cliche, probably. If all other things remain equal, though, the Jaguars have beaten Houston. The Jaguars wouldn't have closed the door on Houston's season like I thought they would have with the win out of time, but they certainly would have made it tougher for them. And the Jaguars didn't shut that door. Now, the Texans are still a problem. I mean, there's a legitimate scenarios out there where the Jaguars face the Texans in the wild card, which I think would be probably the second most difficult matchup behind facing the Buffalo Bills. So the Jaguars have a chance this time around to do what they didn't do last time. And to truly, put down an AFC South team that is gasping for its last little bit. And that's what you want to do. That's football. That's competition. The Jaguars as a franchise should want to bury their 3 rivals at every chance they can get, and this is their chance. The Colts are putting the shovel in their hands, and they need to decide what to do with it. I think if you're looking purely about the matchup, I mean, the Colts defense has been so decimated by injuries. I know they got DeForest Buckner back. We'll see about the status on Sauce Gardner, but obviously the injuries have really hindered them. But I believe now that the Jaguars have the kind of coach in Liam Cohen that, like, when you watch that Monday Night Football game between the 49ers and Colts, Kyle Shanahan just was able to scheme up the Colts defense over and over again. he got whatever he wanted all game. Brock Purdy played fantastic. But I thought Kyle Shanahan, running the operation, Kyle Shanahan putting them in the positions that they were to produce over and over again. I thought he had his way with the Colts defense. And the Jaguars are in that rare position now where I think they have an offensive mind and an offensive play caller who can do similar things to them. I firmly believe after what Liam Cohen did last year in Tampa and what he's done this year in Jacksonville as a play caller, you have to put him in those conversations with other guys like Shanahan who, just have the ability to completely outscheme an opponent. Like McVay with the Rams, like Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, like Ben Johnson in Chicago, like so many other guys. I think Liam Cohen's name, deserves to be up there. What I think the question is obviously is how the Jaguars make this one look. Do they just continue to lean on Trevor Lawrence and open this thing up in the passing game and have the passing game kind of be the focal point for the offense? I mean, Liam Cohen, to his credit, has been staunch, saying even before this hot streak of Trevor's really happened that he was calling plays with confidence for the passing game. And he is a very run-oriented coach. He wants the running game to really kind of set the table for the offense. But he's still a former quarterback at the end of the day. I'm sure he loves throwing it around the yard, and that's what the Jaguars have been able to do. But I think to get ready for this playoff run, the Jaguars have to get better at running the football. They have to attempt to get back on track in that area against the Colts. And for as much as the Colts have given up in the secondary and then in the passing game, they've been obviously better against the run. Defensively, fascinating matchup for the Jaguars. 44-year-old Phillip Rivers playing significantly better than I thought he would. Rivers is just, he shows you how playing football and playing the quarterback position the way he does, that the quarterback position, when you boil it right down to its core principles, is about knowing where to go with the ball and getting the ball there quickly. And that's Phillip Rivers. That's always been him. That's especially him, now in this stage of his career and where he's at physically. I mean, Phillip Rivers in his prime absolutely could beat you downfield with his arm. This version of Phillip Rivers, not so much so. There's not going to be much of a downfield game, but he knows where to go with the ball. He can get it there accurately. He knows how to put the Colts in position. He knows how to handle the operation at the line. I mean, just watching him run the offense pre-snap, you can see why he's able to do what he's done despite only being there for a few weeks. And out of quarterbacks since he's come back, out of like 34, he's like 23rd, 24th, 25th in terms of EPA per dropback, success rate, EPA per play plus CPOE. Not obviously elite, nothing like that, but he's showing that he's better than, struggling rookies like Brady Cook and Shadur Sanders. And that the Colts are probably a tougher out with him at quarterback than Riley Leonard. And I thought Riley Leonard, he played better than I thought he would against the Jaguars. So I'm fascinated to watch Anthony Campanile, and what his plan is for Rivers. I almost question, do you even want to blitz him? Because, he's immobile. If you can get pressure on him, you can 100%, more or less finish a sack. But he just gets the ball out so quickly. Is it even worth sending pressure? Is it even worth sending blitzes? Or is it better to just have 7 guys in coverage and try to, close the windows in the passing game? I think it's a fair question to ask because you know what kind of game Rivers is going to play. And that's who the Jaguars have to stop. I mean, it is Rivers in a lot of ways against Campanile. Because like Camp said on Tuesday, Rivers is it's like playing against another coach. And that's more or less what it is. It's like he's playing Madden. And, he's scheming it up. And it's going to be fascinating to see how the Jaguars match up. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please remember to give us a like, give us a subscription, and you can find us on social media such as Facebook and Twitter at Jaguars on SI.